Welcome back to the movie pit, my demented darlings. It's your faithful servant of the macabre, Dr. Ghoulyula, rising once again from the dank crypt of film criticism to feast upon the entrails of cinema with you. Tonight, we're diving face first into the sick, twisted psychology behind our collective addiction to horror movies. Why the fuck do we keep coming back for more when these films leave us sleeping with the lights on? What kind of masochistic pleasure do we derive from this beautiful torture? Strap in, you beautiful freaks. It's going to be a bloody good time. Why do we willingly pay good money to shut ourselves in terror? What kind of fucked up mental wiring makes us seek out experiences that send our hearts racing and have us checking behind shower curtains for weeks? It's like we're all part of some deranged club where the membership fee is your sanity. You know, there's something deeply fucked up about our relationship with horror movies. We're the only species on this godforsaken planet that deliberately seeks out things that terrify us. Think about it, we spend hard-earned cash to sit in dark rooms with strangers and voluntarily traumatize ourselves. It's this beautiful, twisted paradox. We want to feel safe, yet we crave the adrenaline rush of thinking we might not be. We hate being scared in real life, but put that fear in a film and suddenly we're all fucking masochists begging for more. What is it about watching some poor motherfucker get dismembered that satisfies something deep within our psyche? Are we working through our own mortality? Or are we just sick bastards who enjoy watching other people's suffering from the comfort of our butter-soaked theater seats? That's what we're diving into today, this weird, codependent relationship we have with fictional terror. Because let's face it, horror isn't just a genre, it's a goddamn addiction. And we're all junkies looking for our next fix of fear. Let's talk trauma, shall we? You know that moment when you're watching a horror flick, and you suddenly realize you've been holding your breath for so long you might pass out. Yeah, that shit's universal. I remember watching The Exorcist for the first time when I was way too young. My asshole friend said it wasn't that scary. That motherfucker lied. I slept with the lights on for 2 weeks and developed a temporary phobia of pea soup. To this day, I still check under my bed sometimes. I'm 43 years old. And don't get me started on bathroom scenes after watching Psycho or Candyman. How many of you shower with one eye open or avoid saying certain names in mirrors? Be honest. We've all done that quick peek behind the shower curtain before taking a piss, because what if some knife-wielding maniac is just waiting there? The shared trauma is real. That friend who covers their eyes but peeks through their fingers. The date who practically crawls into your lap during the jump scares. The way we all collectively hold our breath when the dumbass protagonist decides to investigate that strange noise in the basement alone. Don't go in there, you stupid bitch. We scream, knowing damn well they can't hear us. Remember that friend who swore they weren't scared, then jumped so hard at a shock moment that they launched their popcorn across 3 rows? We all have that story. Or how about watching something so disturbing that afterward you and your friends just sit in silence, staring blankly at the credits, wondering what the fuck you just subjected yourselves to? That's the beautiful thing about horror. It binds us together in this shared experience of voluntary trauma. We walk out of those theaters or turn off those streaming services having been through something together. Like survivors of some bizarre psychological experiment who keep signing up for the next round. So why the fuck do we do this to ourselves? Let's dive into the twisted psychology behind our horror movie addiction, shall we? It turns out our brains are wired to be magnificent little freaks. When we watch something terrifying, our bodies can't actually tell the difference between real danger and fictional horror. That's why your heart races, your palms sweat, and you might piss yourself a little during a perfectly executed jump scare. What's happening is a massive dump of adrenaline and dopamine into your system. It's essentially a controlled drug experience. Your body goes into fight or flight mode, except there's nowhere to fucking run when you're wedged between the armrests with a giant soda in one hand and overpriced nachos in the other. And here's where it gets interesting. After the scare, when you realize you're actually safe, your body releases endorphins, nature's feel-good chemicals. It's literally a biochemical roller coaster. Horror movies hack your brain's reward system. The relief of surviving a scare feels so goddamn good that we keep coming back for more, like addicts chasing that next high. There's also something deeply cathartic about facing your fears in a controlled environment. Real life is filled with ambiguous threats: climate change, economic collapse, that weird mole that might be nothing but could be cancer. Horror movies give us monsters we can see, understand, and defeat within 2 hours. There's something oddly comforting in that. The experience works as an emotional exorcism. You get to process anxiety, dread, and fear without any real-world consequences. It's like emotional weightlifting. You tear your psyche down a bit so it can rebuild stronger. That's why some people feel strangely relaxed after a good horror film. You survive the worst that could happen, even if it was just on screen. Then there's the taboo aspect. Horror films often venture into territories we'd never explore in polite society. They play with our darkest thoughts and show us the monsters that might lurk in our own psyches. There's a forbidden thrill in that glimpse beyond social boundaries. It's like peeking behind a curtain marked "Do not fucking enter" and discovering you kind of like what you see. This explains why horror fans aren't actually the sadistic weirdos some might assume. Studies show horror enthusiasts often score higher on empathy scales. We're not enjoying the suffering, we're processing complex emotions through fictional scenarios. It's psychological exposure therapy disguised as entertainment. Some researchers suggest our love of horror is also evolutionary. Our ancestors who paid attention to dangerous scenarios and learned from them survived longer than those who ignored threats. When we watch horror, we're subconsciously preparing for worst-case scenarios. It's like our brain is taking notes. Don't go in the basement alone during a power outage. Got it. The unknown is another powerful draw. Humans are naturally curious creatures, and horror films tap into our desire to understand what lurks in the shadows. That's why the build-up is often scarier than the reveal. Our imaginations conjure something far more terrifying than anything a special effects team can create. The best horror directors know this and use it to fuck with our heads. There's also the shared social experience. Horror movies create instant bonds. Sitting through Hereditary with someone is like going through psychological war together. You come out the other side connected by the mutual trauma. I've made friends for life by collectively losing our shit during particularly disturbing scenes. And let's not forget the mastery aspect. For seasoned horror fans, there's a badge of honor in sitting through films that make others walk out. It's like developing a spice tolerance. What once made you scream now barely raises your pulse. You become a connoisseur of fear, analyzing the craftsmanship behind each scare rather than just being victim to it. At its core, our addiction to horror speaks to something profoundly human: our need to understand and process the darker aspects of existence from a safe distance. We're all going to face real fear and death eventually. Horror lets us rehearse those confrontations in a controlled environment. So next time someone asks why you subject yourself to this shit, you can explain you're not just watching a movie, you're engaging in a complex psychological exercise that's part therapy, part thrill-seeking, and completely fucking human. Let's talk about the fucked up family reunion that is horror conventions. If you've ever been to one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Thousands of pale-skinned, dark-circled horror freaks gathering to celebrate their shared love of fictional murder and mayhem. It's beautiful, really. What makes horror so goddamn special is how it creates instant community. You can be standing in line for coffee wearing a Freddy Krueger shirt, and some stranger will flash you a knowing smile and say, "The remake was shit, right?" Just like that instant connection over shared trauma. Speaking of trauma, let's appreciate the iconic films that have united us in collective psychological damage. The Exorcist, that head-spinning, pea-soup vomiting masterpiece that had people literally passing out in theaters. Fucking incredible. Then there's The Shining, Kubrick's mindfuck that taught us to fear hotels, twins, and Jack Nicholson's eyebrows simultaneously. Hereditary brought us all together in mutual "what the fuck did I just watch" therapy sessions. Nothing bonds horror fans like debating whether you'd rather be decapitated by a telephone pole or set on fire in a bear costume. These are the conversations normal people would find disturbing, but for us, it's just Tuesday. The conventions themselves are magnificent cesspools of shared obsession. You've got the cosplayers with screen-accurate Pennywise makeup that'll make you shit yourself in the hotel elevator. The vendors selling replicas of murder weapons that somehow don't get them arrested. And panels where actors famous for being brutally killed on screen are treated like returning war heroes. Horror unites us through its subgenres too. The found footage fanatics who will defend Blair Witch Project to the death. The slasher aficionados who can recite every Friday the 13th kill in chronological order. The psychological horror snobs who think jump scares are beneath them. We're all different flavors of fucked up, but we're family. What other film genre has fans willingly tattooing the monsters permanently on their bodies? You don't see people getting the Godfather logo on their neck, but horror fans. We're branded for life with Leatherface on our thighs and Pinhead on our shoulders. This bizarre community we've built around fictional nightmare fuel says something profound about human connection. We've turned our collective fear into celebration, our shared trauma into inside jokes. Only in horror can "I couldn't sleep for weeks" be the highest form of praise. Now, I want to hear from you sick fucks in the audience. What horror movie moment made you practically piss yourself with fear? You know the one, that scene where you suddenly realized the blanket you were hiding under wasn't providing the magical protection you thought it would. And what about your body's betrayal during these moments? Do you get that tightness in your chest, that feeling like your heart's trying to escape through your throat? Or are you one of those freaks who gets all giddy when the slashing starts? No judgment here. We're all damaged goods in this community. I'm genuinely curious about the physical toll your horror addiction takes. Do you watch through splayed fingers? Develop mysterious bathroom emergencies during the tensest scenes? Some of you probably have permanent nail marks in your palms from clenching your fists too hard. Tell me about the movie that broke you. The one that had you sleeping with the lights on, checking under the bed like you were fucking 5 years old again. Was it something supernatural that tapped into your religious trauma, or a home invasion flick that had you double-checking your locks for weeks? Drop all this disturbing shit in the comments. Your therapy session is my entertainment, and honestly, there's something comforting about knowing we're all traumatized together. Your horror stories are my bedtime tales. Let me tell you about the most profound fear experience I ever had. It wasn't just watching a horror movie. It was becoming part of one. I was at a midnight screening of The Exorcist, director's cut, completely alone in the back row of an almost empty theater. Halfway through, during that fucking spine-bending scene, I felt something brush against my ankle. I froze. My brain screamed to run, but my body was paralyzed. 5 eternal seconds passed before I looked down to see absolutely nothing. My mind had manifested a physical sensation out of pure, concentrated terror. That's the fucking pinnacle of horror addiction right there, when your body can't distinguish between fiction and reality anymore. The line blurs, and you're mainlining fear straight to your nervous system. It's like psychological skydiving without a parachute. You're falling, your survival instincts are screaming, but some sick part of you is absolutely goddamn electrified by the sensation. This is why we keep coming back, motherfuckers. It's not just entertainment, It's the closest thing to a near-death experience you can have while stuffing popcorn in your face. So what the hell does all of this say about us, really? Here we are, supposedly evolved creatures with big brains and opposable thumbs. And what do we do with our advanced cognitive abilities? We pay good money to scare the living shit out of ourselves. It's beautiful in its fucked up way, isn't it? We've talked about the adrenaline rush, the controlled environment, the psychological release valve. But underneath it all is this weird, twisted paradox that defines the horror fan. We are comfort seekers who deliberately seek discomfort. We are safety chasers who willingly put ourselves in simulated danger. We're like masochists with Netflix accounts. And you know what? This bizarre relationship with fear might be the most honest thing about us as a species. In a world where we're constantly pretending to have our shit together, horror movies are where we go to admit that we don't. That beneath our sophisticated exteriors, we're still those primitive creatures hiding from predators in the dark, jumping at shadows, and telling stories around the campfire to keep the monsters at bay. The addiction to horror isn't just about the chemical high, it's about embracing our most primal selves in a world that rarely allows it. It's confronting darkness so we can better appreciate the light. Or maybe we're just a bunch of twisted fucks who enjoy watching teenagers get slaughtered by masked killers. Either way, at least we're honest about it. If you enjoyed having your psyche violated today, do the decent thing and like this video. Subscribe to the Movie Pit if you crave more psychological trauma disguised as entertainment. And for Satan's sake, ring that notification bell, consider it your personal Babadook, always ready to announce when I've prepared fresh nightmares for your consumption. Until next time, this is Dr. Ghoulyula reminding you that the real monsters aren't under your bed, they're in your head, feeding on your fears. And I'm their fucking caterer. My darlings. And as always, till next time, kiddies.